And there we go. We've got it. It is Fantabulous Friday, and I am sitting halfway in a car, halfway out, because this area of Pickleball U is always a tad noisy because I'm actually right near the railroad. But good morning, everyone. It is July 2nd. Can you believe that? And it's a Friday, Fantabulous Friday. I am Naughty Boss, Carol Sue, aka Naughty Boss, live from a warm Pickle U with two
Sisters. Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. I was able to wash my face and do a little something with my hair, but I still need to get in the shower, which I will do after the podcast. So just saying, I don't normally look this glamorous, but yet here I am showing up.
I'm actually thinking you're looking pretty good.
Oh, well, thank you. That's very
I love for our viewers and listeners that cannot see my sister. She has got this cute little tank on over her sports bra, obviously, that says Mind Matters. And I absolutely love that because it does. We talk about all the things that lead up to a Friday, the Fantabulous Friday. We have Mindset Monday, Triumph Tuesday, Wealth Wellness Wednesday, and Trending Thursday that leads up to Fantabulous Friday, which the whole time your mind matters through every single aspect of it. And a cool, funny thing that, I've been utilizing, and I'm not really sure that people realize this within your ability. When you're really struggling, we've got so many different things going on in the world that we know that we cannot control. We've talked about the CRT, we've talked about whatever version you decide to label CRT, which, infecting our schools, indoctrinating our schools from K through trade, but also started off years ago in the colleges. What's going on in our world with this, fear mongering that so many news outlets like to inject into us every day, the new variants, the Delta variants that's coming out. What's going on at our border, which is a travesty. It's disgusting. And then you get to, wow, she can't, Britney Spears can't even control her own money, but all these other things can take place. So all these things, guess what? They're out of our control, but they infect our mindset. And so many times when you're feeling that frustration of feeling basically powerless, I would think. I mean, that's kind of the world, because we know other than our voice, there's nothing that we can do. It's really a lot of it is out of our control. Well, Naughty Boss, it's so funny. A lot of people don't realize that with your statuses, there are different ways for your privacy settings. You can have a public status. You can have a friends only status. You can have that your friends can see it, but their friends can't comment and or see it. You can have, block certain people. Not that you're blocking the person, but you're blocking them from seeing the post. Just put their name in it. But you also have this little trick called Only Me. Now, how good is it when you know that you, and I apologize, there's some noisy plane going by, little putt-putt. But anywho, because I'm right near the airport as well. How many times when you feel this powerless and you feel this frustration and this anger and this stress, and you just want to talk to your girlfriend, your sister, your brother, your mother, your father, whoever, right? But they may not always agree with you either, but you still got to vent, right? So I love that little piece that I could chew out anybody I want. I can chew out the person in the White House that's occupying the White House. I can chew out all those damn liberals that voted this meatball in that, by the way, his last few clips I saw, I wanted to vomit. And I can just put Only Me. Now, what that has done is it's on social media for me to see, gives me some sort of validation that I'm venting it and I'm putting my point of view. But I'm also using common sense not to spurt it out into the world. So while I'm not a big fan of social media and all the censorship that they do, and they do it and they know they do it, and they're going to feed you a bunch of crap that they don't do, but we know that they do. And you also have those narky friends or those family members that their ideologies are nowhere even close to what you're feeling. You can say whatever you want to say, vent, get it off your chest. It's there, and you could delete it when you want, but it's also there to remind you that it's okay that I felt that way. Got it off my chest. I love it.
Absolutely. And, as I was on my walk today I got outside a little after 4:30 this morning, because I just boom woke up out of a sound sleep, which I normally do anyways before the alarm. And it was raining, not a hard rain, but it was like a steady drizzly rain. It wasn't cold, but it was actually a little on the steamy side. So the first, I obviously walk around the little circle. So the first, rounds around the circle, I don't like to listen to anything. I like to listen to nature, listen to the birds starting to wake up. The other morning I saw a deer, I see a whole bunch of different wildlife. And the word why came into my vision. Why is all this shit happening? And then I'm going to get to my point in just a second. And obviously I started thinking of what is going on where fake 46 resides. And just everything happening, like you said, stuff at the border, and obviously the condo collapse in Surfside, Florida, like all this stuff came into play. And, other than the Surfside, which we know was just hugely tragic, and our hearts and prayers go out to them. I want to put that over here for just a moment, because what I'm going to say does not obviously apply to that. But then it occurred to me when I thought of why, the words from a certain movie came to me. And I'm like, that's it. Where you have this revelation when you ask yourself a question, or when certain words come into play and you're like, oh my God, that is totally it. That makes sense, even though it's not right. Okay, I want to state that up front. So the words that came to me from a certain movie, and I'm sure most everybody has seen it, and I probably have watched this movie tons of times, is A Few Good Men. My favorite part of the movie is when Jack Nicholson, who plays this particular character, is on the witness stand and he shouts out, "You can't handle the truth." And I'm like, oh my God, that is truly what is happening. You believe what you believe based on certain facts, but some people, excuse me, obviously don't think of it that way. So when the truth is constantly being manipulated with silly putty, well, it's no wonder that they keep on, I want to say inventing, but creatively inventing different ways to switch around the truth, to mold it, to really infect. It's like an infectious disease.
It sure is. You got that for sure. And, I think that's such a great analogy, because I think that part of it is people's inability to do due diligence to themselves to find out the information, whether it's correct or fact. And, when you say that, that brings me to mind, over Ashley Babbitt, the veteran who was killed at January 6th. Now, I was kind of looking at this entire week, and there's speculation. They're saying that it was Capitol Police. Other people are saying it might have been Secret Service. Will we ever know the truth? I think it's going to be kind of one of those JFK things that we probably won't know. But I thought it very interesting and very telling this week, and that people are not connecting the dots. Just some people can't. They refuse to. They, like you said, they can't handle the truth. I thought it was very telling this past week. If you saw how stories were generated in the chronological order of them, which really started, I think, the day that President Trump announced that he was going to go to the border. And then, and he predicted it. He said, you just watch. The VP will be heading there because I'm going there. Well, sure enough, she did. She got really bipartisan crucifixion. I'm changing the word up a little bit. in the media, obviously, because she did a horrible job. And, anyone that even is a Democrat said she did a horrible job. And all you Democrats that just stick with her regardless because of party, you're a fool. But that's my opinion. But it started to snowball there because then sadly, obviously we have the tragic story, of the collapse, which is, so incredibly sad. My heart breaks for all those families. And, they're resuming, I believe they're resuming rescue and, the digging and going through the rubble. And it's just a painstaking chore for the families as well as for all the emergency responders. But you have that, and I think, God has a mysterious way of putting certain things in our life at a certain time where it causes you to pause and reflect. And sadly, at many times remind us that we're not in control. We're just not in control. We're only in control of what we say, how we act, and how we react to any certain situation, any certain event, any certain comment, news reporting. But I thought it very telling that kind of started the ball rolling. And then, of course, this week, President Trump did go to the border, and he went to the appropriate part, the lengthy appropriate part where most of the crossovers, the illegal immigrants are coming, and really showcasing and listening to the reporters on the dangers of, the bodies that they're finding. My heart breaks for all these innocent women and children that they're just finding bodies everywhere. The degree of temperature, the heat, it's very hot. The hydration, never mind what's going on to so many women and children, trafficking and sex abuse. Yeah, these are real things. And, I thought it pretty foolish, I think, on Kamala's part to say that they inherited this, because they did not inherit this. Our border numbers were extremely low because of the measures taken with the wall, number one. But number two, then to also proclaim, we've made great strides in the last 5 months, great accomplishments. No, you haven't, because in all actuality, if you actually understand the numbers and do the research, we are at a 30-year high of people crossing the border illegally, a 30-year high. That's insanity. So then you have that going on. And ironically, then you have some Trump rallies starting up, gearing up for 2022, 2024. The amount of emotion and patriotism. So you've got that going on. And then what else do you got going on? You've got Crosby, which I believe, from what I understand, the judicial system did not do it correctly, and or they vacated the order, or I believe he still stands with the conviction of sexual, whatever the misconduct or whatever the charge is, but they released him early. I don't know all the ins and outs of that story, nor do I care to know it. Somebody like that who had, a lot of power, a lot of influence in families' lives. I mean, our family was influenced by the Crosby Show. So, I'm not going to give him any airway time. Then you had, of course, what was going on with number one and number two placing really, really well, first and second, showing their patriotism. And then another story broke out that's not even worth discussing. Then you had, besides that, then you had the whole, flub ups from the person occupying the House this week, like tragic whispers, tragic fumbling. At one point, I thought Nancy Pelosi was going to slap him silly. Then you had, again, Britney Spears can't get her money, fire your lawyers. To then another rally preparation, and then to this disgusting display of what's going on in New York City with the Attorney General. Sadly, parading the CFO from Trump, companies, and they're very flubbed up charges. It has to do with a company car, company this, company that. He didn't actually, report it correctly, and you parade him in, what do you call it? Handcuffs. Yep, handcuffs. But you got the whole slide in, cry in, hide in family. And no arrest there, no investigation there. And then simultaneously Pelosi comes out and is going to enact some sort of commission against January 6th. And all what I just spewed out happened in like 8 days. And not only that, you get to who shot Ashley Babbitt. Where is the justice for her? Yet all this justice for all these other stuff, rightfully so on some, not so rightfully on others. You had all this outbreak and cry. Where's the cry for this woman? She was a veteran.
Right.
She had a backpack. She had a backpack on.
Yeah,
like
there is.
You couldn't have shot her in the leg. No outcry there. And we don't even know who shot her. It's going to be one of those. Who shot her? We don't know.
Because there is no justice for all. You can't have manipulated justice, and that is exactly
Decided.
what is going on. Justice should be, because it is the law, across the border, like across the line. Justice for all. You can't have a certain set of rules for this. They do. You know, where is the outcry? And I have a question for those who may listen or view this on YouTube, whatever, that believe in your Democratic Party. And I'm not saying you're wrong, or I'm not saying any of that, but my question is, what about, like, does any of this bother you? Like, how do you feel now about what is going on? And I really am curious, because I do want to understand. I want to understand what other people's points of view are, even if I don't agree with it. But I just want to be very clear with that. And I have said this publicly. I have said it on our podcast before. CRT with me is not debatable. Not debatable, because you can't fight race with race.
Right. But I thought for me, I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think for the most part, conservatives and those that are kind of, they vote either way, have that mindset. But they're also, I think the big difference, you have one party, and I'm sorry, the corruption is flagrant. But again, it's something that we cannot control. And believe me, there's corruption on either side. So I'm not saying one side's worse. I'm saying one side is worse than the other, but there's definitely corruption on both sides. Mm-hmm. And what I think I find very telling, and I'm noticing this more and more and more, what we can control. You lock arms with people that have the same ideologies. You could be understanding of other people that don't, but I'm not, I'm to the point in my life that I don't, like, even I've got very close friends. I have limited, and I've talked about this before because I have a lot of people that message me. How do you, not, salvage the friendship or keep the friendship going? And I always tell people, when you're postured in your beliefs, family is one thing. You can't pick your family, right? We know that. But you can pick the people that you choose to pick. And even though there are people in my life that I chose to be in my life, I'm to the point now that if our ideologies and our basic principles are that different, there's nothing wrong. And you have to be postured in it, because a lot of people are not strong enough to do it. I am. And I freely admit that I have no problem with it. You can put the pause button on. You can slowly retreat. Because if they're not impacting your life in a positive way, and really not only that, but also embracing, where you are at in your life and what you feel, it's okay to delete them. It's okay, via social media. It's okay to take a break from them, in real life person. And you know what? Sometimes it's okay to say, what? The friendship, I valued it for what it was at that particular time in my life. But I can't get past that our ideologies are that different. And that's where I am in my life right now. And a lot of people, will agree with that. And some people will not agree with that. And I respect that. But for me, that's what works, because I can't surround myself. I can interview them. I can debate them. I can listen to them, for that conversation, that hard conversation of trying to understand where they're coming from. But from a social aspect of wanting to invest, because we know that any kind of relationship, you have to invest in it, right? You have to invest in your health, you got to invest in your wellness. Well, part of investing in your wellness is your mindset, because your mindset is also part of wellness. So if they are not impacting my mindset in a positive way, or really, to the point, and it's not a question that I'm saying they've got to agree with me or think exactly like me. But if I know in my heart that they don't, and they're not even willing to be open about it, and or kind of go 50-50 in that mindset, I'm to the point now, it's okay. And I don't do it rudely. I wouldn't, and I suggest no one does that. Don't get into that, don't leave a relationship better than you left it. And that's, my mantra now is leave it better than you left it. That, hey, it was great while it lasted. But my life is going in another direction. I always, and it doesn't mean that you'll never see them or you'll never have greetings and salutations. Of course you might, but always do it in such a way that regardless of your own personal decision that you're doing what's best for you and your mindset and your health and wellness, that you leave it better than the beginning of it. Now, a lot of people say, well, how can you do that if you're ending the relationship because your ideologies are different? It's called respect. It's called living by the golden rule. You treat other people the way that you want to be treated. You don't agree, and it's okay to remove them from your life or put them at a distance or put them at, one end of the table, and you'll visit it when you visit it. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think for some people, they think, oh no, you have to hold on to it. If it's not adding you value, if it's adding stress, if it's mind-boggling, no, you don't, because then it's not adding value. And guess what? That's gonna tear away your heart, because you're gonna be longing for something that isn't anymore. Don't you agree, Jan?
I do. And there's a lot I could say, but what I will say is it is okay to remove toxic people from your life. And I have a picture and this picture was with me and some other people. And every time I looked at it, it brought me like heartache, and I look at that picture and I think, in that time, that was such a great moment and I will always treasure it. However, I finally had the courage to take that picture out of the frame and cut that person out. And I got to tell you, I felt liberated. I felt, and I only wish good health, happiness for this person. But it was time to cut the cord, so to speak, and maybe metaphorically speaking.
Right. And what I'm also saying is, obviously, if they're toxic, yes, remove them right off the bat. No question asked. Where I'm coming from is a person that's not necessarily even toxic. They're in their beliefs, they're in their belief system, but they're just vastly too different that you cannot reconcile it within your own heart and your mind. Because then you think of, well, what do we have in common then? If we really think so differently and have total opposites attract, we know that, John and I are opposites, opposites attract. So I don't mean it in opposites attract in a healthy way, which sounds a little weird, but it does. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about basic humanity principles. So yes, goes without saying, if it's toxic, yes, remove them. Like, don't waste your breath on people like that. People that are angry and they're looking for a fight, remove them. That's a no-brainer in my eyes. I'm talking about those that you actually did value, that you still value, but then you also realize, our ideologies are too different. Have them, get them off of your radar screen, because what you find is that you start questioning, like, I don't understand. How could they not see this the way I see it? It's not healthy to live like that. And it's not, you wish them peace. I mean, I always do. I always try to make sure that whatever relationship I'm ending, and it may be a pause. When I say ending, it could be kaboom, it's ended, or it could be a pause. It could be, I'm going to kind of tuck you in the corner over here, you know, whatever. But I always try to make sure that I'm leaving it in my mind as good as I started it. Because, you know, when you start a relationship, you're getting to know each other, right? They don't
Mhm.
really know you. You don't know them. You want to see what you have in common. So it's very, you know, you kind of go out at it gingerly. And then there's other people that you instantly just fall in love with. So I'm not talking about the people that you instantly fall in love with. I'm talking about just the natural progression of any new relationship. So for me, I'm kind of doing a rewind. I'm backing out of the relationship. Still, you know, pleasant and you know, not cut off at the knees. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm just, you know, we think differently. And some people say, well, you can still have that relationship with that person, just don't talk about certain things. It's not a question of even subject matter. For me, it goes back to core beliefs of humanity, um, right and wrong. And if you can't get past that, you really feel their ideology is wrong and it doesn't fit in your narrative, your world, it's okay to let go. And I think people have a hard time with that. They'll take it out on social media. They'll block the person. You don't have to go to that extent unless they're toxic, obviously, or if they're cray. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do to keep your health and wellness. But I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you just kind of like gently remove them from your radar.
And speaking of radar, this has nothing to do about nothing,
Well, I
but
love that.
I did want to share this. Have you ever had those daydreaming moments and then you pick up your cell phone, social media, and you're scrolling and you're scrolling, then all of a sudden 35 minutes have gone by. So I've been working really hard on mindset and keeping that vibe going. So I have what's called a desk book. So when those moments, like when I'm uploading the podcast, you know, it takes a while to process and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here like, and that's when I start scrolling, blah, blah, blah. No more scrolling. I've been 3 weeks scrolling free and I have a desk book. And I showed this on the other day. Everything is booked. So this is my desk book. So for those daydreamers out there that are trying to work on that, or excuse me, are looking for a different strategy and you love to read, grab yourself a desk book. Keep it very handy because you'll be amazed at how many pages you read. So just
Right.
wanted to share that.
Right. And I think that's an excellent idea because we always talk about reading and writing,
Mhm.
something that the schools, I believe, should be more focused on than this stuff that they're trying to do and infiltrate our poor children. But yes, I think that's a great idea to have some sort of book, um, that or even a journal. You know, when you're waiting for something to upload or process, or you know, you've spent time on the computer to pay bills, whatever, and you're like, you know, sometimes the internet's moving slow. Have your journal there, write a little thought down, or have a book that's got inspirational quotes and read a few. You'd be surprised how that kind of flips because, you know, sometimes paying bills online can be stressful, whether it's the internet or whether you're like, oh, I didn't think the bill was that high. Shit. Where's that money coming from? Like your mind wanders on all these different things when you're doing that. So have something that's calming next to you that counteracts that feeling of, ooh, and it also just puts you in a better mindset. So Fantabulous Friday, there's so many things that we could chat about, which we've already chatted about, but we are also going into a very big weekend. Independence, red, white, and blue. I heard a very sad podcast from, and I only been doing snippets because our ideologies are just way off base. And he happens to be the person that the school district that I've been chatting about with paid, I don't know, $5,000-6,000 for this person. And he does a little clip of what, you know, Independence Day. My people didn't have independence, you know, 1776. So no, I'm not celebrating it. Like, and he lives in a free world. He lives in a free country, so he can say that. But It is a big weekend for those that celebrate red, white, and blue, that celebrate our independence as a country, and celebrate it hard, celebrate it with patriotism, be safe. There's a lot of different events all over, especially in where we are. There's all kinds of fun stuff going on. So do something fun, even if it's just, that you don't have any big plans, grill your favorite food, make it festive, maybe get some red, white, and blue napkins. Maybe just even, there's so many podcasts and music channels that have patriotic music to get you in that festivity, even if you're kind of in a funky mood, or geez, we don't really have any big plans, just you and I, or me and I and the kids. There's ways to make it fun. There's ways to make it fabulous. And there's ways to make it festive. So we will actually be coming to you live on Monday for Mindset Monday to do kind of a recap of what was going on in our world. And we would love for anyone to comment and kind of message us and let us know what's going on in their world for this July 4th. But we wish you happy Independence Day. Happy July 4th. Remember, just the spirit of it all. And, sometimes it's good to do a little rewind. Go back to those thoughts when you were a little kid, where life was simpler, where it was all about hamburgers and hot dogs, potato salad, macaroni salad, watermelon, and ice cream.
Ooh, that sounds good. And on that note, we're going to close it out here. Fantabulous Friday. Make it fantastic. Happy July 4th. And as always, we will be back here, on Monday, July 5th. Ooh, great conversation today. As always, we covered a lot of topics. But my name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0, and I am with two
sisters. And this is Carol Sue, aka Naughty Bus, live from a very warm Vero Beach. I am in the parking lot of Pickle U, but not enough courts. So guess what? I'm going to get to the grocery store early before everything is bought out, because you know how that goes. You guys have a great July 4th. Happy July 4th. Happy America. Happy Patriot, red, white, and blue. Take care. We'll see you Monday.
Bye.